for that beautiful rendition. He's taking us from glory to glory in Jesus' name. Amen. Indeed, God has called us into a life of glory and virtue. And we'll continue our women's conference. Our next speaker, I'm just going to give a brief summary of the reason I come up to read a brief summary is not to make the people look, extremely big or bigger than God. It's to make people understand who is coming up stage to speak with us and all. Okay. Our next speaker is Mrs. Sade Sangowawa. And I'm just going to read a brief summary from what I've gathered from here and there. She's the founder of the Black History Youth Awards of Tees Valley. She's also the founder of Taste of Africa, which is a yearly event in which fashion, food, and everything in Africa is displayed. She's an entrepreneur. She has a charity that supports young people. She's an advocate with the organization she works with. She's an advocate of Black ethnic minority. She's a wife, she's a mom, she's a lover of God. Let's appreciate her, let's appreciate her. Thank you, women, let's appreciate her. She's going to be talking to us on entrepreneurship, turning your passion into business. Please let's invite her. Would you just invite her? Let's invite her. Just one thing before she starts, could you please write our questions in papers and then we'll collect everything round so that as soon as she's done, she'll be able to address them. Thank you very much, ma'am. Let's appreciate her.
Why I'm looking like this is I'm thinking, after Sister Lola spoken, what can I say? That's my sister, much older. I think that's one thing we debate all the time. Good afternoon, everyone. I sat there and, when you're doing a presentation, the rule is, you have everything down, you know what you're going to say, you've practiced it, you've looked at it. In my case, it always goes out of the window. Because I would have written, there's certain times that it is strict to the point. But a number of times, because I think I find myself, depending on sometimes, when I'm sitting and I'm praying, and depending on what God lays on my heart at that point in time to talk about, it sort of shifts my presentation a little. So you will bear with me. I do not have slides, but if people are interested in what I've spoken about, it's a bit more detailed. I will send it to the pastor and she can distribute that. She can pass it on. Now, my topic is turning your passion or probably hobby into a business. I'll start by saying it is not easy. It's a lot easier said than done, doing business in a sense. But because of where we come from, we always do side hustles somehow. If you're not selling shoes, you are selling food or you're selling that. We're always doing something. But then translate that into coming here. And sometimes what we find ourselves doing is the hustle and bustle of living in another country makes it a bit difficult or not focused. So, I've always been business-minded somehow, even before I came here, before I came to England. So there's always been, I think my husband says it's because I don't like people telling me what to do. But that's not true. I'm just I'm very impatient. I like things to move all the time. However, because of time, I'm going to keep you really a bit focused. My sister here said actually quite a number of the things I was going to say in relation to business. So I'm going to look at it from a practical point of view and relate it a bit to how I started what I'm doing. And sometimes I wonder, I think certain aspect of my business is born out of passion. And somehow it hasn't made it any easier. But like Sister Lola says, sometimes when you know where you're going and you're very sure, the battles will come. And sometimes, and I think she knows a bit about what I'm talking about, we've shared it back and forth at times. But at the same time, you know this is it. And God speaks to you through people, and then you know, or just at the point in time when you say no more, something would happen. And you know it's nothing to do with anybody but God saying, wait, keep going. It doesn't mean it's easier. I always say that it's bearable. Now, how did I get into what I'm doing? And I'll use my life as an example. The reason why I got into business here was just simply because the times when I was having the kids, it wasn't easy between my husband having a full-time job and me doing the same thing. So, gradually, I decided I wanted to do something that I used to love doing back in London, which was selling children's wear, right? Great. So I got here, did some stuff, worked in Littlewoods, I was a manager, and then went into selling children's wear, which I loved doing. I was good at it. I used to do it as a side hustle down in London. And then I got here and I thought, yeah, okay, I'll take a step back. I'll go into business. And I started selling clothes. People will say, it's unfortunate it happened because I closed the business after 2 years. It failed. And the reason why that business failed, not because I wasn't passionate. As a matter of fact, when you see me standing now, when people say you're very lucky, I always smile. And it's just, no luck. God is faithful. When I tell people that I've done Darlington Market, Catterick Market, Stockton High Street Market, selling children's wear. And bearing in mind, before I came here, I had all the degrees that you could think of, from here, from US, but I ended up there. It didn't work. Did I blame God at that point in time? No, not really. I just felt it didn't work. Now, two things could have happened. Stopped, not do it again. But gradually I realized through people, friends, the things I was doing, that actually I've got gifts that God has given me. Really serious gifts that I never looked at in any way as important. Let me put it that way. Now I'm looking about passion and your hobbies now. Sometimes we don't recognize the gifts that we've got that we could turn into a business. And they're sitting right in front of us. But I suppose as human beings, you know what we like to do? We like the hard one. You can do this, is very good. It's the other one that I will slave on. But actually, God gives us gifts. And sometimes, because we don't recognize it, other people will tell us, but we don't believe it. And then we miss it. How many times have we men been told, oh, you look nice? You go, no, it's nothing. No, this, nah. You look nice, thank you. You look nice, isn't it? You tell a man you look nice, and my brother is back there. If I say to him now, my brother, you're looking current. My brother will probably say, my sister, thank you. You said to a woman, I like that. This little thing, no, even I still do it. I was told this morning, auntie, I like what you're wearing. I said, this one, okay, just put it together. We're not used to taking compliments, is it? I was told at a training by a white guy, hey, you good at speaking. I could speak for an hour, 2 hours without a note. And I'll engage everybody. I think it's a gift. I don't necessarily think because I've done anything. Because those who knew me knew I was shy when I was growing up. And people can't believe it actually. They go, huh? You? I can speak for England if you let me. I gradually discovered that actually I am good at it. And I started doing it. It was not easy, it was difficult. When I say difficult, but practice made perfect, that's a natural gift. And I've found over the years, it's worked for me. So number one, recognize some of the gifts you've got that you sort of discard, you know. What are hobbies that you've got that actually you could turn into a business? People don't think of it, but a lot of rich people that we talk about now turn their hobby or passion into business. Bill Gates is one. Facebook guy, Mark, I don't really like him much, but geez, maybe because he has a lot of money and I don't. Yeah? Here's another one. There was a lady who started by just sewing pillows to give to the daughter to take to school, just to thank the teachers. Then the husband lost the job. Then she took it on as a business. She started selling it at the mall. She's a multi-millionaire right now. But she was good at what she did. She researched it. She thought, what can I do to make it better? So maybe it's a warm pillow. So when you put your head on it, you know, you put it in the microwave now. You sleep on it, it feels great. But she was sewing. Now I'm going to, because I look at time, I'm going to link it back to us now. Now this is talking as Africans to Africans. You have hobbies, identify the hobbies. The initial thing I was going to ask was, then I thought we wouldn't have time to do an activity. Do you recognize any hobbies that you have or things you have passion in? Write them down. When you write them down, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can turn them into a business. I'll give you a classic example. How many people know how to make cards? You know all these birthday cards? And many years ago, that was the in thing. Decoupage. You spend £5 to buy the material. You make the card. They bring it in from China for 50p. You make yours for £2. Yes, you're good at it, but it's not going to make money. You've got to recognize that. So, number one, when you have a hobby and you want to turn it into a business, think, is there a market for it? Are people willing to buy what you're selling? Is it really something you can sell? It's very important. Two, once you've done that, you recognize, oh, it's good, it's great, it's da-da-da. People are willing to pay for it. Friends are willing to pay for it. Create a plan. Like my sister was saying, you have a vision, you have a plan. Always have a plan. My failure with children's wear, and I'm going to be very honest, I did not fail because I did not plan. I did plan. I did my research. I did my business plan. And I thought I was thorough. However, my business failed because I failed to do one thing. I did not look at the culture of the people I was dealing with. I came from London where everybody bought children's wear for their kids. You know, really fancy, pretty originals in those days were very expensive. And I was bringing stuff in from America. But what I forgot was I was dealing with people here who do not buy children's wear as often for their kids. That's why my business failed. I had a shop in Yale. That's probably one of the most eyebrow places you could have a shop. But it failed. So bear that in mind, right? It might be good, but also be very, very quick to realize if it's not working, when to move, when to shift it. And that's sometimes a downfall when you don't know when to move. Start slow. Once you've identified that hobby that you think, actually, this can make money, start slow. Set your goals and milestones. Get good at it. So if you're sewing, get good at it. If you do makeup, I know a number of people do makeup. Some, they do the makeup, you look at it and say, wow. Some, they do it and you're saying to yourself, seriously, did you look in the mirror? Hey, it's reality between doing something very well. If you're going to do it and it's a hobby, You want to turn it into business, do it well. Do it very well. Because once you make the decision that you're going to monetize it, you've got to do it right. Now, maximize your time. My sister's spoken about time. Build an online presence, because it's the cheapest way to do it. Social media, Instagram, put it out there. Now it's current. In my days, we do flyers. Flyers these days, sometimes it's a waste of money. Sometimes it's good. So you've got to study it well. Okay, I'm not very good with social media, but I employ people who do it. Which is something my sister was saying. Trump does not ask 24 hours, but he does certain people do certain things. I'm not good at it, but that's not my field. So I employ people who will do it for me. So remember that. Now I'm going to talk about networking. Then I'm going to quickly finish off. When you're starting slow like that, start with networks. Networks of people you know. People who will spread the word for you. And don't sell beef burger to vegetarians. Don't go into a networking meeting where they're vegetarians and you want to sell beef burger. It's not going to work. So you pick the networks you want to sell into. Know your networks. Know the target audience you are targeting. If your target is to sell pork, don't go to the mosque. It sounds really ridiculous, but people do it. You go meetings after meetings, events after events, but they're not the appropriate ones. Start with your immediate network if it's a side business, and then they also will spread the word for you. But treat it like a job. Because once you decide it's a side business or a full business, you've got to be able to treat it properly, like this is a job. Whatever else you want to devote to it, great. Now I'm going to talk to us about Africans. What stops us doing it here? I see, and I'm not being arrogant, and I humble myself because I'm standing what I call a holy ground right now. But I promise myself I won't tell anybody a lie, because people think it is easy, and it's not. Why do we not do it here as black people? I see so many people with skills. So many people come to me and say, Auntie, I'm doing this. I want to do it as a business. Auntie, I'm doing this. And then I start to ask questions and say, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? But people are not willing to put the effort it takes to make it work into it. So if you come to me and say, I'm doing this, you go, okay. You go and I know my sister, we've joked about this from time to time. Okay, you want to do this. Okay, you go and do A, B, C, D. And then let's meet. No, they won't. They come back to you, can't you do it for me? You know the people. Hey, but I have my own life. I have made the mistake over the years, and I hope to God other people don't make the same mistakes. And I've sacrificed beyond, I strongly believe, what I should have in my life. Then wisdom kicks in. That you can't do it all. And I just did a simple experiment. Somebody who was actually not a Christian said, Sade, you know what, you're going to drop dead. And when you're dead, they'll put a plaque on the wall for you. She was a great woman. He said, but you know the joke of it? The Lord gathered there and said, yeah, I love the woman. He said, but you know who won't be there? You. Because you'll be gone. So you've got to be able, when you want to do something or do something for someone, be able to empower them so that they can be equipped to do what they want to do and not do it for them. One, we don't want to do it, we want people to do it for us. That's number one. We need to understand the processes and the procedures in this country and adapt. We are not in Nigeria, we are not in Congo, we are not in Zimbabwe. We are in England, we brought ourselves here. So we need to understand how the system works so that we can negotiate the system. I find we struggle with it because we still want to do the African thing. And you know, sometimes what I found with experience, it makes us it takes the journey much longer. Much, much longer. Because you cut the corner here, you'll be brought back this way. I see it, if it's from a business point of view. Fear of the unknown. If I do this, what's going to happen? If people know, what's going to happen? So what? It's your life. Do it anyway. The worst thing you can do is not try it. I've failed so many times. And to the glory of God, God has taught me a few lessons from it. And also been very successful in other things. And to the glory of God is from the failure. And I'm still learning. Because the events that we do does not... Sometimes I wonder how we're able to do it. My sister knows. We struggle every single year with funding. Every year. But every single year, I will say we will not do it again. I'm not doing it again. And every single year by January, my brain is on again. However, even in the midst of it, I'm still learning. God is still teaching me certain things. As old as I am, we're never too old for God, is it? He's showing me things. But at the same time, He's using people to bless me, but I have to be willing to do the work. That's what I want to encourage us. Be willing to do the work. So if you go to someone and they can help you, be willing to put the time and effort in. Lack of relevant skills. We don't have the skills, but you want to go for the training. They call you for training, I don't have time. Come for this, I don't have time. But can't you do it for me? Why? Why do I want to do it for you? Or why should anybody? We need to make the effort to learn the relevant skills that we need for that business that we want to do. If it's finance, go and learn it. If it is writing, go and learn it. And then pride. Pride. I'm not going to ask her. Who is she? Is she the only one that knows it? It's your problem. She's going her own way, she's enjoying it, she's doing her thing. Don't let pride stop you learning or getting support from the right quarters. I don't care if you're black, if you're white, if you're blue, if you're green, if you're yellow, if you're orange. I network with everybody. That's another failure that I find with us. It is good we are together as black people. It is good we're together as West Africans, South Africans. It is all great. But when you're doing business and that's where your thoughts are, even without business, you need to network with people. White people, black, network. Somebody once asked me a question about probably 8 years ago, 10 years ago. You have got some Africans, you got this and that. And he said, which people have opened the doors for you the most? It's not been black people at all. And I'm being very, very honest. It's been white people who don't even know me. But they believe in what I'm doing because I've put the work in. And they will open the door. It could be Chinese, it could be Indian. I network. I don't discriminate. Because the person that God is going to use to open that door, you do not know. It might not be a black person, it might not be a Nigerian, it might not be a Congolese. For me, it's been different people. So be open-minded to network with people you meet on the way. You never ever know. And finally, the one nobody likes to talk about, but I'll talk about, is the tax man. We do businesses on the side that we don't want the tax man to know. You do this, you do that. You know what I say to people I mentor? Let the tax man know. You know why? The amount of tax you think you're really going to be paying for sort of side business is insignificant in the beginning. You probably won't pay much at the beginning, or none at all. However, it gives you one thing, peace of mind and credibility. You can stand anywhere and sell whatever you want to sell without the fear of, they're going to go and report me. You're free. And to be honest, once you do that, there's integrity. And we need integrity. And I'm going to leave you one thing. Many years ago, when I wanted to start the Youth Awards, I went to a gentleman who was the head of the Vice Chancellor's office at Sade, and I explained what I wanted to do. But before I went, I prayed. And I said, Lord, I'm going to visit 2 people. If I visit this guy, and he says no, then I won't do the event. But if this event is meant to do, Lord, let it be positive. And I'd known him. It's not somebody I didn't know. And I went and I walked in. We do the British thing. Oh, how are you? Oh, yeah. We talked about the weather a little. Yeah? And then I said, this is what I want to do. It didn't take 5 minutes. And I was prepared for the questions. And he looked at me and he said, I asked for 4 things. And he said, yes, 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 yes. But I actually didn't hear it. I stopped and I went, huh? Then he said, I already said yes. He said, but I can't give you the amount you're asking for. Maybe I'll give you half of it. At least you can start off. Then I stopped and I said, oh, and I was preparing because I had notes, you know. And he said, you do not need to justify yourself for anybody. He said, you have come here and you have done things that we never thought a black person could do. Not to talk about a woman. He said, you don't need to justify yourself to anybody for anything, ever. And that particular comment I've taken for the last how many years, and it has helped me. Integrity. Goodwill comes with it. I work very hard for the things that I do. And it's never been easy, but God has been faithful. Information is power. Trust me, you have information, you got power. And speak to those that have done it before. They will enlighten you so you don't make the same mistakes. Oh, I've got time. Yeah, that's good. Oh, I'll just finishing off anyway. Research, know your business very, very well. Speak to those who've done it before so that you don't make the same mistakes. The mistakes that I've made, I share it with people. The mistakes I've made with Taste of Africa, I share it with people when they want to start their business. The mistake I've made with setting up my own business, I share it with people. So that way they don't make the same mistakes. There's a running joke about, maybe I shouldn't. There's a running joke about, you do voluntary and it's great. If you're gaining experience, it's great. There's nothing wrong with it. You gain experience. So if you come to me and you have something you're passionate about, you have to decide the purpose for which you're doing it. Is it to make money? Or you just want to do it because it comes from the kindness of your heart? Your hobby might be something like that. Your passion might be something like that. But you need to be very clear, like my sister, you have to have, what's your purpose for it? Once you've established that, if it is business as we're talking about, then you plan it. It doesn't just fall. Plan it so that you don't make the same mistakes over and over and over again. If it is for fun, you know what I say? Plan it. Because whatever your passion is, it might require a lot of money. I made the mistake when I started Taste of Africa. Actually, I didn't think it's about money. I thought, it's a community, the positive side of Africa. Oh, we're Africans, we're great. This place will turn it around. Hello, fantastic idea. 16 years going to the glory of Almighty God, because every other event has started. They always come back and say, you guys still doing it? But that is because it took me a while to realize it's a ministry for me. However, it also made me realize I should have planned better. Those plans are in place now. So you want to do your hobby, your passion, you want to turn it into business, I say to you, have your plan in place. It costs money, transportation. Even you going to visit someone to cost money. Always put that in place before you do anything. But more importantly, in concluding, I wrote something down, and it's just one line. And it says, technology is something else, isn't it? Oh, jeez. I should have written it down on paper. I'm not like Auntie Lola. Our technology is great. Sure. And it's about wisdom. And I was just reading one I said before pride, and Proverbs 11:2. By the way, I don't assume to know the Bible more than anybody, probably don't know as much as anybody here. But when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. We should learn to humble ourselves. I never profess to know more than anybody, ever. I can talk, I think there's some young people here who've worked with me. Oh, where's it? Dora and Co. They know. I work a lot with young people, a lot. And at the same time, even I still humble myself before them. Please, humility. Also, I put down Proverbs 12:15. The way of the fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to advice. If we listen to advice, we've got a lot of experience in this place as Black people. There are people who've done it before us. Most of the things we want to do has been done. But if we humble ourselves and just forget what anybody else is saying, just forget it. Seek advice, seek the support, will be a formidable force. And to God be glory. I am grateful that I'm able to share this because I almost wasn't going to. But I genuinely pray that God in His mercy would show us the way, our way, His way for our lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've got questions here just before we do.
Do you offer mentorship courses? Yes, I do. That's a simple one. Yes, I do, but only as needed. One of the few things that we do, we have a mentoring program for young people, but I actually find myself doing quite a lot of it for adults. So, if anybody is interested, you just need to let me know. And we can organize a course, but also we can link people to mentors. It might not necessarily be me, but it will be people that I do believe will be honest enough and will be supportive. So that's one. How do you juggle children, work, business in this country? Grace of God. I think I'm glad now, like my sister Lola. I'm not a grandmother yet, and I will be by grace of God. But all my children are grown now, but when they were growing up, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I did sacrifice a bit of my career for the kids to be where they are today. What I wanted to do and what I'm doing are two totally different things, but I've come to accept that, I think as I've grown much older, that I'm actually I'm where God wants me to be, and I'm doing what God wants me to do. But I will not tell you a lie, it took me a long time to accept that. But once I accepted it, and I still sometimes, with God, but I know that I'm actually in the right place. I hated this place, Auntie Lola knows. For the first 10 years of my getting here, I hated this place. I really hated it. That's how bad it was for me. However, I think when God started His work in me, I just didn't have a choice. So how did I juggle it? Grace of God. And sometimes remember that you might have to sacrifice. And you have to be prepared for what you are willing to sacrifice. for the family or for the kids. That was my sacrifice.
Can I just chip in there on the children issue? They will not be children forever.
Yeah.
Make your plan.
Yeah.
Okay? We first lived in Birmingham when we first came here. We first lived in Birmingham when we first came here. I did my first master's then, which means I did not sleep most nights because I was going back to Nigeria to head up the department. So I did everything, got my degree and everything. And then we were moved here out of no plan or no. I wasn't interested. I never wanted to come to England, but we shared a few common things on that ground. I had my plans in Nigeria. I had no interest in coming out of Nigeria, and I still don't. Pastor knows. I really, really don't like being here, but you use what you have. So basically on the children, please remember they will not be children forever. And what you invest into them matters for the future. My children spoke at my recent event at which I celebrated a milestone. What they were sharing was how much time they appreciated I gave to them. Now they're gone, I can do what I like. And that's why I said to you, I'm a grandmother, but I don't want their children.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you very much, Mr. Lola. I just want to make a contribution. Thank you for both of your sessions. Protocols observed, Pastor Dolapo. I want to kind of create a little bridge because I'm a bit of everything here, including pastor's wife, and I've been doing a lot of mentoring with women that feel that it's not possible, and just a little bridge. Start where you are. Start where you are. There are times we attend these seminars and it looks as if the person that is talking is so far away. What they're talking about is so far away. But what you need to do is already where you are. Praise the Lord. When we moved to the Netherlands, by the grace of God, in our church, there were different cultures. There were women that will come and will say, my husband will not allow me to work. I will say, start where you are. He will not allow me to go out. Now, because I'm very radical, the temptation will be, what do you call it? Go against what he says. But sometimes that is not even necessary. Start where you are. One of such women, she started to bring food to church. And she started to, she bring jollof rice today. We serve it. This jollof rice is very good. She makes some spaghetti, jollof spaghetti. Very nice and everything. And little by little, with little bits of encouragement, which is what we call mentoring, she bought chafing dishes and everything. Today, she organizes food for weddings. And I'm talking about 2-3 weddings the same weekend. And anytime we attend a wedding that she actually is catering in, my husband will say, do you remember Mary? And I will remember Pastor, you don't know. After the seminar like this, Pastor, you don't know what I'm going through. Because every time we sit, we feel our own story is the worst. Even if the speaker knows. Start where you are. There was another lady here, Beji. She had twins. Because of the fact that she had the twins, she wasn't able to go out. So she would come to church. Her husband was very enterprising. So her husband was selling phone cards. And it was back in the day, I'm talking about 16 years ago, or almost 20 years ago. He was selling phone cards. And his dream and vision, going to what Sister Lola said, was that he was selling then Lebara Laika, and he will say that he will one day that they will start buying his own cards with his name, and that was big. Now that was huge because those cards were new in those days, and 2, he was going door to door. Now, I'm not talking about the man. I'm talking of what his wife was doing. So the wife that was not able to go out because they had twins. So he was going out, but the wife was selling cards from the house. So when she comes, she will sell to you, maybe with trust. She will sell to, there was a way she was selling. When she comes to church on Sunday, she will collect her money. It was not even the time when you could ping somebody's money. But she will come to church, she will collect her money, and she will bring the cards and everything. And so after a while, even the church phone cards, we were buying for Mama BG. And do you know what tripped me? After a while, Mama BG was supplying, the phone cards. They're usually from all these shops that sell to foreigners. Mama BG was supplying all the shops in the neighborhood as well as the petrol stations. So she didn't, God bless you, ma. She didn't need to have a shop. She didn't need to go out. There are times when my children are young. Start where you are. There is something that you are able to do. From inside, I didn't know that her own catchment had reached like that until they told me that this whole neighborhood, including not just the packy shops, including the petrol stations, that they are buying from her. That's so on Sundays, they line up in front of their house. And it doesn't have to be a big house. To come and collect their own supply of phone cards. So there is something that you are doing. The aboki that comes to Lagos doesn't have language. It might not be relevant for you. Because in the Netherlands, you say, it's because we don't speak the language. Pack the language. All those things that we put up as bridges is not happening because of this. It's not happening because of my color. It's not happening because of my accent. Pack it. Aboki that comes to town doesn't have the language. Aboki will sit at your gate and be selling matches. Within a year, that your gate, he has turned it to a supermarket. Some of you know what I'm talking about. He has turned it to a supermarket. He has golden moon. He has everything. He has everything inside that small gate. Until the day you need to borrow money from Aboki, before you know how much raw cash Aboki is carrying. So don't wait until, if it is hair, whatever it is that you are making, that you are doing, that you know, skills. Start with skills. The one that is not highfalutin with money. If you can do hair, do it. And like two aunties or mommies or what have you have said, do it in a way that when people see somebody with weave on, they will say, this is Sister Angela's handbook, because it is so unique. Hallelujah. You will not be on the same level in Jesus' name. The grace is already there. That's what I came to announce. Hallelujah. None of us will remain. I was taking notes. I don't know about you. I was taking notes because the next time I see the Dr. Sade, I'm not permitted to be on the same level because I attended this meeting.
Amen.
Thank you. Finally, how do we register a business?
Talk to me.
Talk to Sister Lola, but that is within us. Yeah, talk to Sister Lola. But if not, if you don't want to talk to her, for whatever reasons, you can talk to me. But also, there are agencies out there that work with people who can help you set up a business. Sometimes, even if you go onto the internet yourself, if you're one of those people who is techie, you can do it. But they do. But I did mine myself the first time. However, I would advise, you speak to an advisor. Stella is one. I can help out if need be. And if it's something above my pay grade, because I'm not an expert at it, I will probably refer you back to Sister Lola or some of my associates that I do work with, and that's what we do. Because you've got to decide which way you want to go and know the implications of which way you want to go, and it is very, very important. Just finally closing, I'll just say, just so what my sister said there, we all have hobbies, we all have skills. But I seriously also believe that whatever skill or hobby that you want to turn into a business, do me a favor, do it well. Don't just do it the way, and that's sometimes what we are known for, that we just do, halfway, it's not. Do it very well so that anybody that says, if you're cooking, cook well. If you do hair, do it well. If you're sewing, sew it well. We've got all these wonderful skills. And if you need to train some more, go for it. You've got nothing to lose, go for it. So that at any point, you stand out and somebody can say, you do not need to justify yourself because you have done it. Yeah. Thank you very much.